Who's Who by W.H. Auden. This poem published in on this island along with 30 poems. This poem published in Look Stranger. Auden's UK publisher Faber asked him to supply a better title, but he was traveling in Iceland and inaccessible. So the publisher titled the book Look Stranger. Auden disliked the title and asked his American publisher Random House to title the book On This Island. The homosexual Auden married to Erika Manon, to whom this book was dedicated. A song cycle of the same name by Benjamin Britten sets 5 of Auden's poems. In the UK, Look Stranger in the UK in 1936, then published under Auden's preferred title On This Island in US in 1937. It is also the title of one of the poems in the collection from the book. Who's Who published first untitled in the book, but later then titled Who's Who. This book must be very special for the poet because this book enjoyed a warm critical reception, sold its first British printing 2,350 copies within 6 weeks, and ordered a call Birmingham Palace to receive the King's Gold Medal for Poetry. W.H. Auden is considered one of the finest poets of the 20th century, experimental in his poetry. His early stage was characterized by Eliotite modernism. His middle stage incorporated Marxist and Freudian themes, and his late stage was more conversational and dealt with Christianity. He experimented with a variety of forms. If we read the poem, we can see that in the first octave, in first stanza, AV, CD, which follows the Shakespearean form. In the second stanza, the insisted EF, GG, EF, which doesn't really follow the Shakespearean form. The poet chose to do something in free form. The poet used both formal and free bars in this poem. In this poem, poet W.H. Auden is structured in a way in which we could say that the poem itself looks like it's giving us someone's information, like a bibliography. Furthermore, the kind of words and phrases used in the poems are like a biography of an important person. This is true if we think in the archetypes of an important person. This is true if we think in the archetypes of an important person. A famous person is well known by people. People know their background, their achievements, what they do, what they don't, just like in the poem. This idea I got from the lines like, "How far the victim, how he ran away." Sounds like someone's background information made him the greatest figure of his day, which could be that person's achievement. Apart from this poem, if we see a complete view of the poem, we will notice that all the lines are a list of facts mentioned in the first line, which the author says which could be all found in a shaded life. The interesting point here is whether the author is talking about one person or more than one. Simple words like he, him, and his gives us a sense that the author is talking about just one person because the words are in singular. Although believing that the poem talks about only one person makes perfect sense. If we look at the title of the poem, we could question that idea. The title of the poem, Who's Who, it's actually like a question. The author wants us to look up to whom corresponds those details that are given in the poem. One last detail that I want to point out is a comparison that the author presents in the last line of the first verse. Here, Warden talks about how the person which he is talking about in the poem, assuming that is probably an important person, he also has suffered for love just like us. This detail about the poem makes us readers identify with the person or the poem itself that is being presented. The author here uses a different tone from the rest of the poem. I think that this impact in the change of tone in the poem is attributed to the word weep. This word weep takes us into the poem and makes an emotion evoke from the reader. And not just the tone itself, but also the comparison that he made, saying, like you and me, make the poem feel like if it was a real experience. The sensation of reality in the poem comes from the idea that the topic of love is a well-known topic by people, and a lot of the people in reality have felt love, whether being the results happening, happiness or crying over it. This poem, I agree that this poem is biographical since it is written in a first-person point of view. Um, but I also believe that in his in I believe that Auden wrote this poem referring to a love that did not correspond to him. His first stanza describes how the writer emerged from nothing to become a great and important person, since he named the sea and climbed new mountains. In the and in the second stanza, I believe he is talking about a woman that wasn't important, since she only did the normal things expected of her. But she ignored him. The writer could have declared his love through a letter or something. She did not keep the letter because she did not want him and answered him no. And it also feels like he's talking about the critics who did not recognize his work, which really he did care about. I believe the second stanza supporting the first stanza. I choose this one because it represents actually each one of us, whatever we are, how we became. This is a biographical poem, as I have said first, and where it seems like Auden telling his own experiences too, how he became the great figure of his day. Somewhat he is reflecting himself, his previous deed in this poem, like our shadows, which is ours but not ourselves. Like that, he shows in this poem the shadows in his but not himself.